You remember the bite. It wasn't a playful nip during a moment of laughter. It wasn't a soft, teasing gesture. It was something else. Imagine the scene again, because your subconscious has been replaying it on a loop, searching for a meaning your conscious mind refuses to confront. The room was quiet, the air thick with the unspoken history of your relationship. You were close, perhaps closer than you had been in months, in that fragile space between intimacy and silence. And then it happened. A sudden, sharp pressure on your shoulder, your arm, your lip. It was precise. It was intentional. It was just hard enough to make you flinch, to register as a minor violation, but not hard enough to be an outright act of war. For a split second, the world stopped. In that moment, 1,000 lines of code were transmitted directly into your nervous system, bypassing the logic and reason you use to navigate your daily life. You felt the indentation of her teeth, a primal signature left on your skin. She said nothing afterward. Perhaps she smiled, a flicker of something unreadable in her eyes. And you did what we are all trained to do. You rationalized it. You dismissed it. But the signal was received. A message from the oldest part of her brain was delivered to the oldest part of yours, and it left a mark far deeper than the one on your flesh. That single, visceral act of communication holds the key to the entire psychological framework of your marriage, your attraction, and the trust you believe you share. That bite was a question and a statement, all at once. It was a test. In the sterile landscape of modern communication, the polite questions about your day, the carefully constructed arguments, the digital messages stripped of all genuine emotion, this was an act of pure, unfiltered truth. It was a desperate attempt to say something that words have become too weak to carry. Think of the vast, silent sea of resentment that can grow between two spouses, the subtle habits of avoidance, the slow, creeping cancer of emotional cheating that leaves no visible scars. The bite is a symptom of that disease. It is the raw aggression of a cornered animal and the desperate plea of a lover starved for genuine contact. It's the ultimate paradox, an act of intimacy delivered through the language of violence. Sigmund Freud would argue that this is not a contradiction at all, but the very essence of human desire. It is the point where eros, the life instinct, the drive for connection and creation, meets thanatos, the death instinct, the drive towards aggression, destruction, and a return to the inorganic. She bit you because, in that moment, she was overwhelmed by the need to both possess you completely and to destroy the comfortable illusion you have both built. It was a crack in the facade of your relationship, and through that crack, the truth is beginning to shine. To understand the message encoded in her teeth, you must be willing to travel back. Not just to the beginning of your relationship, but to the very dawn of her consciousness. You must abandon the naive belief that the woman you are with is purely a creature of logic, reason, and shared values. She is not. You are not. We are all haunted houses, walking accumulations of ghosts from our past. And the most powerful of these ghosts, according to Freud, resides in the mouth. Before she had words, before she understood the complex dynamics of love and power, she had her mouth. It was her entire universe. It was the source of all pleasure and all pain, the primary tool for understanding the world. It was through the mouth that she first experienced trust and nourishment from her mother, and it was through the mouth, with the arrival of teeth, that she first experienced the power to inflict pain, to assert her will, to bite back against the world that was trying to shape her. This infantile stage, the oral stage, does not simply vanish. It is not a chapter we finish and forget. It is the foundational programming upon which all future habits of intimacy, confidence, and communication are built. Her relationship with her mouth is her first and most fundamental relationship with the world. Consider the profound implications. The mouth is the nexus of her most primal and conflicting desires. It is the organ of speech, used to build connection and express love, but it is also the organ of consumption, of breaking things down, of taking things into oneself. It is the gateway for the kiss, the ultimate symbol of romantic fusion and vulnerability. And it is the gateway for the bite, the ultimate symbol of dominance and primal possession. When her psychology is under pressure, when her emotions are too complex or too forbidden to be articulated through the sophisticated channels of adult language, she will regress. She will revert to an older, more honest form of communication. The bite is a pre-verbal truth. It says, I want to consume you. I want to mark you as mine. I want to test your strength and see if you will break. I am frustrated with the space between us, and I will use my teeth to close that gap. I am angry at you, and this is the only way I can express it without shattering everything with words. This is not a conscious, calculated decision. It is an instinctual eruption, a piece of her shadow self breaking through into the light. It is a moment of pure, unvarnished psychology, and if you can learn to read it, you will gain an almost unfair advantage in understanding the true state of your connection. This Freudian lens changes everything. It forces you to see that every intimate act is layered with a lifetime of psychological history. The way she kisses you, the way she uses her tongue, the way she holds tension in her jaw, these are not random habits. They are echoes of her earliest experiences with trust and attachment. A soft, hesitant kiss might speak of a deep-seated fear of being consumed or controlled. A hungry, almost violent kiss could be an expression of a profound emotional starvation. And the bite is the most complex signal of all. It is the signature of a psyche grappling with immense internal conflict. It is a sign of immense passion, yes, but it is a passion intertwined with aggression. This is the central drama of all human relationships, the struggle to integrate our capacity for creation with our capacity for destruction. A healthy relationship finds a way to sublimate these aggressive instincts into passion, ambition, and protective strength. But when communication fails, when trust erodes, when the pressures of marriage or the temptation of infidelity build, that aggression can no longer be contained. It leaks out in its rawest form. The bite is a warning flare, a sign that the dam is about to break. It tells you that the balance of power in your relationship is in flux, and the rules of engagement are being rewritten on a primal level. So what is the test? You need to understand this with absolute clarity. The bite is a test of your substance. Her primal self, the part of her that has no interest in your job title, your social standing, or the carefully constructed personality you present to the world, is asking a single, brutal question: are you real? It is asking if you have a spine. It is a probe, sent from her unconscious to yours, to measure your density, your presence, your ability to handle the raw, chaotic truth of her nature. When she bites, she is subconsciously checking to see if you will collapse into apologies, dissolve into confusion, or lash out with fragile, wounded pride. She is testing the bars of her own cage, and you have unknowingly become the cage. Will you bend? Will you break? Or will you meet that pressure with an unwavering, grounded strength that says, without a single word, I am here. I am not afraid of you. I am not afraid of this. Most men fail this test spectacularly. They mistake strength for aggression, or stability for passivity. They do not understand that what she is truly looking for is a container. A man who can absorb the force of her emotional storms without being destroyed by them. The bite is a physical manifestation of that storm, a pinpoint of psychological lightning. Your reaction tells her everything she needs to know about your capacity to be her partner, or your destiny to be her victim. Now we must go deeper, into a truth that may feel like a betrayal. The bite may not be for you. Let that sink in. In Freudian terms, this is an act of transference. The immense, frustrated desire she feels for a different kind of man, a fantasy, an ex-lover, or perhaps a very real person in her life, the subject of her emotional cheating, is being transferred onto you. You have become the unfortunate stand-in, the physical object upon which she enacts a drama meant for another stage. She bites you because she cannot bite him. She sinks her teeth into your flesh because you are safe, you are present, and you are the living symbol of the life she chose, which now feels like a compromise. This is the psychology of so much hidden adultery. It is not always about a physical act. It is about a psychic hunger for an experience you are not providing. She craves a more dominant, more unpredictable, more dangerous energy, and in that moment of primal regression, she is either trying to punish you for not being that man, or she is desperately trying to provoke that man out of you. The bite is an attempt to transform you, through a shocking act of physical alchemy, into the lover she desires in her mind. It is a profoundly desperate act, a sign that her internal world of fantasy and her external world of reality are dangerously at odds. The trust you thought was the bedrock of your marriage is revealed to be sand. Or perhaps the bite is not about the future, but about the past. Think of it as an invoice. It is a physical bill being delivered for a long list of emotional debts you never knew you had accumulated. Every broken promise, every dismissed concern, every night you turned away from her emotionally, every time she felt unseen or unheard, these are not forgotten. They do not evaporate. They are stored, filed away in the limbic system, accumulating interest. Men operate on a logic of recency, believing that the present state of the relationship is all that matters. Women often operate on a logic of accumulation, where the emotional weight of the entire history is present in every single interaction. The bite, in this context, is the physical expression of a psyche that can no longer bear that weight in silence. It is the raw, condensed energy of 1,000 unspoken resentments. It is for the argument you won 2 years ago by being louder. It is for the vulnerability she showed that you failed to protect. It is for the dream she shared that you subtly dismissed. This is the bite of resentment, and it is the most dangerous of all, because it is not a cry for passion. It is a demand for justice. It is a sign that the unwritten contract of your relationship has been violated so profoundly that her body must now speak the language of pain, because her voice has been ignored for far too long. This is the path that leads to divorce. And what was your reaction? We must dissect it, because your response is the other half of this Freudian equation. Your immediate, unfiltered reaction is a perfect diagnostic tool for your own psychological programming. Did you recoil in shock and confusion? This is the reaction of a man who lives in the world of the purely rational, a man who is terrified of the emotional chaos that bubbles just beneath the surface of his partner. Your confusion is a defense mechanism, a refusal to see the truth because acknowledging it would shatter your ordered world. Did you get angry? Did you feel the need to discipline her, to push her away, to say, "What the hell was that?" Your anger is the response of a threatened ego, a sign that her act of primal dominance triggered a deep-seated fear of being controlled or emasculated. It reveals your own fragile relationship with power. Or, did a part of you respond with a flicker of excitement? A strange, dark sense of arousal? Do not be ashamed of this. This is the response of a man who is in touch, however faintly, with his own shadow. It is an acknowledgement that a part of you has also been starving for something real, something that breaks the cycle of sterile politeness. Your reaction is a mirror. It shows you exactly where your own habits, your own thinking, and your own confidence, or lack thereof, truly lie. Ultimately, you must understand that this act, in all its complexity, is a violent prayer for authenticity. The modern world, and the modern relationship within it, has become a monument to the safe, the comfortable, and the predictable. We have traded passion for partnership, fire for friendship, and raw desire for reliable companionship. We have smothered the wild, untamed aspects of our psychology under a thick blanket of civility and expectation. The bite is a rebellion against this suffocating comfort. It is her soul screaming that it would rather feel pain than feel nothing at all. It is a desperate, animalistic attempt to create a feeling, any feeling, that is genuine. She is biting through the layers of performance, the good wife, the supportive partner, the loving mother, to get to something true. And she is biting you to see if there is anything true under your layers of performance, the good husband, the reliable provider, the stoic man. This is the hunger for the real. It is a rejection of the emotional wasteland that many modern marriages have become. She is asking, in the only way her primal self knows how, if there is still a living, breathing, dangerous connection between you, or if you are both just politely pretending until you die. So you have a choice. This is the crossroads, the precise moment where the future of your relationship, and more importantly, the future of your own self-awareness, will be decided. The first path is the path of the ego, the path most men will take. On this path, you will label the bite. You will call it crazy, disrespectful, or toxic. You will use these labels as armor, shielding you from the terrifying vulnerability of looking deeper. You will demand an apology, not for true reconciliation, but as a power play to re-establish the comfortable illusion of control. You will seek reassurance that it will never happen again, effectively asking her to shove her authentic, primal self back into its cage. You will go to therapy and talk about communication strategies and anger management, treating the symptom as if it were the disease. This path allows you to remain the victim, the righteous one who was wronged. It requires no change, no introspection, no courage. It is a dead end. This path will lead you to a quiet, polite, and passionless existence, or it will inevitably lead to the slow, agonizing death of your connection, culminating in separation or divorce. It is the comfortable lie you tell yourself to avoid the painful truth. The second path is terrifying. It is the path of descent. It requires you to do the one thing your ego is screaming at you not to do. You must move towards the source of the pain. Instead of labeling the act, you must become relentlessly curious about it. Instead of demanding an apology, you must create a space of such profound psychological safety that the truth behind the bite feels safe enough to emerge. This is the ultimate test of your masculine strength. It is not the strength of the fist, but the strength of the container. It is the ability to sit in the fire of her raw emotion, her anger, her resentment, her wildness, without being consumed by it. It requires you to ask questions that have no easy answers. What was that bite trying to say? What part of you did that come from? What hunger in our relationship is not being fed? And then, you must be silent. You must listen with an intensity you have never before summoned. You must listen not just to her words, but to the pauses between them, to the tension in her body, to the flicker of fear and desire in her eyes. You are no longer her husband in this moment, you are her psychologist, her confessor, and her partner in exploring the dark, uncharted territory of her soul. This path requires you to sacrifice your need to be right in favor of a much deeper need to understand. To walk this path, you must first confront the ghosts in your own machine. Your fear of her aggression is not just about her, it is about your own repressed aggression. Your discomfort with her chaos is a reflection of your terror of the chaos within yourself. This is the core of Jungian shadow work. The parts of her that trigger the strongest reaction in you are mirrors, showing you the disowned parts of your own psyche. Have you become too predictable, too nice, too domesticated? The bite might be a subconscious cry from your own soul, projected through her, begging you to reconnect with the wild, untamed masculine energy you have sacrificed on the altar of modern comfort. The man who is truly grounded in his own power is not threatened by the primal nature of his woman, he is attracted to it. He finds it exhilarating. It is the necessary polarity that creates attraction, the friction that generates sparks. If her bite fills you with fear instead of a primal sense of recognition, it is because you have disconnected from that same energy within yourself. Before you can hope to understand her, you must have the courage to face your own shadow, the part of you that wants to bite back, the part of you that longs for the visceral, dangerous truth of existence. This is the alchemy of transformation. When you can meet her primal signal not with fear or anger, but with a grounded, curious, and powerful presence, something miraculous happens. The dynamic of your relationship fundamentally shifts. You cease to be two separate egos locked in a subtle power struggle. You become two partners on a shared journey into the psychological depths. The act of the bite, once a symbol of conflict and dysfunction, is transmuted into a catalyst for profound intimacy. It becomes a shared secret, a sacred wound, the starting point of a conversation that is more honest than any you have ever had. She will see, perhaps for the first time, that you are not a fragile boy who needs to be protected from her truth, but a man who is strong enough to handle all of it. This is the foundation of genuine trust. Not the fragile trust that is based on predictable behavior, but the deep, unshakable trust that is forged in the shared exploration of the darkness. She will feel seen in a way that is both terrifying and deeply liberating. The aggression in the bite can then relax, because its message has been received. The desperation subsides, because the starvation is being addressed. The need to test you diminishes, because you have already passed the test. The bite, then, becomes a gateway. It is an invitation to graduate from a surface-level relationship to one of genuine psychological depth. It is a call to stop communicating about schedules, finances, and the logistics of life, and to start communicating about the things that truly matter: primal fears, unspoken desires, ancestral wounds, and the secret movements of the soul. This is not easy work. It is the work of a lifetime. It means embracing a level of emotional and psychological nakedness that most people will do anything to avoid. But the alternative is a slow, spiritual death. It is the quiet desperation of a marriage where two people share a bed but live in different universes, their true selves locked away, starving for a moment of genuine, shocking contact. The bite was that moment. It was a violent, desperate, beautiful gift. It was a defibrillator applied to the flatlining heart of your intimacy. It shocked you. It hurt. And it may be the one thing that can save you both from the comfortable oblivion you were slowly drifting into. It is a sign that there is still life in the system, still a fire worth fighting for, still a wildness that refuses to be tamed. Let us be clear. This is not about condoning aggression or accepting disrespect. This is not a justification for a toxic dynamic. It is the exact opposite. It is about developing a level of psychological acuity so profound that you can see the root cause beneath the symptomatic behavior. It is about understanding that by the time her teeth meet your skin, the communication in your relationship has already failed on a catastrophic level. The bite is not the beginning of the problem, it is the final, desperate scream after a long, suffocating silence. To merely punish the scream without understanding the silence that created it is an act of profound ignorance. The truly powerful man does not react to the surface-level provocation. He possesses the confidence and insight to bypass the ego-driven theatrics and address the core wound directly. He understands that her action is a crude, primal map leading directly to the buried treasure of what is truly broken. Following that map requires a courage that few possess. It is the courage to see your own complicity, your own failures of presence, your own role in co-creating the psychological pressure cooker that finally exploded. This is radical ownership, and it is the only thing that can truly heal the dynamic. You must learn a new language. The language of the body does not lie. The words that come from our mouths are often carefully curated, polished, and designed to maintain a fragile peace. The truth, however, is written in the tension of a jaw, the flicker of an eyelid, the unconscious turning away of the hips, and yes, in the shocking pressure of teeth. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to become a master translator of this silent, honest language. It requires you to be hyper-present. To be more interested in the emotional subtext of an interaction than in the literal words being spoken. When she speaks, you must learn to listen with your entire nervous system. What is her breathing telling you? Where is she holding tension? Is the smile on her lips reflected in her eyes, or is it a mask? This is the path of embodied awareness. When you can read this language fluently, you will never be surprised by a crisis again. You will feel the subtle shifts in atmospheric pressure long before the storm ever breaks. The bite, in this new reality, would not be a shocking surprise, but the predictable climax of 1,000 subtle signals you had been observing all along. You will have moved from being a passive victim of her emotional state to an active, conscious participant in the energetic field of your relationship. This new understanding will reshape your concept of attraction. You have been taught that attraction is about aesthetics, shared interests, and agreeable personalities. This is a superficial lie. Primal attraction, the kind that withstands the tests of time and the pressures of life, is rooted in something far deeper. It is rooted in psychological polarity. It is the dance between the untamed and the grounded, the chaos and the order, the feminine storm and the masculine mountain that remains unshaken. The bite was a test of this very principle. Her chaotic, primal energy reached out to see if it would meet a solid, grounded force. If you meet her chaos with more chaos, anger, confusion, panic, the polarity collapses. Attraction dies. But if you can meet her chaotic energy with an unwavering, centered presence, you become the safest and most exciting place in the world for her. She can unleash the totality of her being, her light and her shadow, without fear of destroying you. This is the ultimate aphrodisiac. It is a level of confidence that is not performed or asserted, but simply is. This is the core of authentic masculine power, and it is infinitely more attractive than any superficial quality you could ever hope to possess. This journey is not about fixing her or your marriage. That entire frame is flawed. It is about your own transformation. It is about using the external crisis of the bite as a catalyst for a radical internal evolution. You are being called to evolve from a boy who seeks comfort and fears conflict into a man who seeks truth and embraces the necessary, creative tension of life. You are being asked to develop the psychological depth to hold space for the entirety of the human experience, the beautiful and the terrifying, the sacred and the profane. This is the path of the conscious man. He does not seek a placid, peaceful relationship devoid of passion. He seeks a vital, dynamic partnership where both individuals can bring the totality of their souls to the table, shadows and all. He understands that true intimacy is not found in avoiding the darkness, but in having the courage to walk through it together. The bite was not an attack on you. It was a desperate, primal invitation from her soul to yours, asking if you were finally ready to begin this journey. It was a painful, shocking, and necessary wake-up call. The question is no longer, why did she bite me? The only question that matters now is, will I have the courage to wake up? Therefore, do not waste this crisis. Do not let this moment of raw, painful truth be smoothed over with empty apologies and a return to the comfortable numbness of your old dynamic. This is a gift. The universe, through the primal medium of her teeth, has handed you a key. It is the key to a deeper understanding of her, a more honest assessment of yourself, and a more profound level of intimacy than you have ever dared to imagine. The wound is where the light enters. The bite created that wound. Now, your only task is to stop trying to stitch it closed and instead have the immense courage to let the light pour in. You must see the bite not as the end of your trust, but as the potential beginning of an authentic connection, one forged in the fires of psychological truth rather than the fragile pretense of politeness. You must thank the part of her that had the wild courage to send such an honest signal. Look at the faint mark it may have left. See it not as a scar of betrayal, but as a map. It is the starting point of your true journey. Now, go and learn its language.